Dutch airline KLM burns 13 to 14 tons of catering waste every day in order to comply with EU legislation. If the EU is serious about circularity, this needs to change. Meals, drinks and snacks are part of any flight experience. At KLM, they pride themselves on the food and beverages they serve, but also on the way they minimize catering waste. After a flight, waste is separated into 14 different streams, and any unconsumed food is loaded onto a next flight within strict quality limits. Furthermore, data models are used to predict how much catering should be loaded onto any flight. This prevents food from being wasted. KLM shares this mission with dozens of other airlines. There is a problem, however, because EU legislation classifies catering waste from outside the EU as a risk to animal health, as diseases could potentially spread. This forces airlines to destroy this waste. However, there is no scientific evidence confirming this risk, and because the legislation is too broad, similar waste must be processed in different ways. One example is coffee grounds. Identical coffee in pads or tins is loaded onto a European and intercontinental KLM flight at Schiphol Airport, the Netherlands. Onboard processing is similar until it comes to disposal. On returning to Schiphol, coffee grounds from the European flight are turned into compost and biogas, whereas those from the intercontinental flight are burnt with other waste. European airlines fully support animal health, of course, but this example shows how restrictive this legislation is. Consequently, any airline flying into the EU is obliged to burn catering waste on arrival, regardless of the origin. This means industry waste has increased substantially to 430,000 tonnes per year, which is equal to the amount of waste that 810,000 EU citizens produce in a year. This puts European airlines in a difficult position. We want to be more sustainable, in line with EU's own ambitions, striving for a circular economy, but EU legislation is also restricting us from recycling and reusing more. If it's safe to do so, the industry wants to recycle and reuse as much as possible. Our customers want this too. We call on EU policymakers to address this problem. Let's work together to reduce waste.